Hey guys, it's Salvador with Detailers Growth, and today I am sitting down with Nate of Tailored Detail Works. How are you doing, man?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm good. I appreciate you hopping on the call. Um,
Of
yeah, I
course.
just want to, give people a little bit of background to your business. So you came on board early April, and
Yep.
can you tell me about what life was like or what business was like before coming on board?
My business started my junior year of high school. I onboarded with you, right around later in the spring. So before that, I was all mobile work. I would say my senior year into the winter, we got into installing ceramic coatings. I realized, with the higher ticket jobs, these type of jobs are ideal. Mobile work is something that I loved, and I know a lot of people feel the same way, whether they have accepted it or not. Um, but a lot of people really want to get into those high ticket jobs, out of the mobile detailing, all those interior jobs, whatever it might be. So as I started with the ceramic coatings, I said, this is what I love. We had a pretty high demand for this work. We worked through a pretty strong wave of ceramic coatings, pretty much based off of word of mouth. But it did come to a point where I realized, if I want to go to the next level and ultimately stop doing mobile detailing, which a lot of people told me I was crazy to try to do, I realized I need to hire a professional or at least venture into some advertising. So, of course, like a lot of people try before heading off to a professional, I tried
Yes.
doing advertising myself. I lost a lot of money for sure, no doubt. There were some ads that did well. I mean, well, back then compared to now is a lot different. So, after probably losing a few $1,000s over months, I'd say a six
Man.
month period. Nothing too crazy, but trying to run those Black Friday ads, venturing in with different companies, dip my feet in the water. Um, I saw Salvador. I think you reached out to me, and we had a Zoom meeting where you did a very thorough evaluation. We ran through my company's goals, where pretty much where I want to take the business, what my current situation was, and my budget and whatnot. We decided that we're a good fit for each other, and right off the bat, we launched an ad. We launched. You did like your starting campaigns, and I was shocked because I was sitting at a quarter of the budget that I would normally be doing. We start at $10 a day. And
Very
I would
a
get,
very small budget compared to where we're at now.
yeah. And you said that, I trusted you. And I was $10 a day. And I really didn't think we would get any results from it. The first day, I'll never forget, we got 5 leads and I closed 4 out of those 5 leads and I was ecstatic. And from that point, keep in mind, this is all while I'm still in high school. I think it was in May. I had an amazing month, and I realized this is what I want to do. So, um, yeah, that's pretty much how it started before. So that's where I was struggling.
Awesome, man. Yeah, two key points. You were in high school. Okay.
Yeah,
You were still going to school just like a regular student.
yep. Five
And
days
you
a
had
week
this
from
detailing business.
7 a.m. and then I get home right around 3:30. So I ran my detailing business as much as I possibly could since October of my junior year. I started my business the day after I got my driver's license.
That's
So
insane.
this wasn't a working schedule, or anything, just because I know there's a lot of younger people that dabble into this. One tip I'll say with this industry and a lot of other industries is if you want to do it and if you want to grow, you have to put some skin in the game by working with people like Salvador. And two, you have to be consistent. The amount of hours that I put in my high school years in this business, looking back on it, it was a lot, every single weekend from morning to night. And a lot of it's about learning when you're that young. A lot of people are willing to help you. So it's important to trust the professionals. Be careful with who you on board with. Salvador's definitely somebody that I trust. So my other tip would be to ask questions to those higher up in the industry. But just for the younger guys, it's definitely possible to build something pretty superior. It's surprising.
It's insane what you've built just this
I
year and
appreciate
last
it.
year.
Yeah,
And
huge change.
you're currently 18 years old, right?
19. I turned 19 last week.
Okay. Oh man, nice. Happy
Yeah.
belated birthday.
Thank you.
You make me feel a lot older than I am. I'm only 23, which,
Yeah.
somebody older hearing this is like, what are you guys talking about? But dude,
We're
it's
both very,
insane.
very young. We're both very
Yes.
young.
Um, yeah, so you were doing detailing, mobile detailing. And I know a lot of guys struggle to make the transition into coatings.
Yeah.
It could be very, very tough without like a consistent lead flow. And it could be SEO, it could be advertising, it could be word of mouth. But when you have think of each one of those like a fishing line in a pond.
Yeah.
That just compounds over a couple months. But the quickest way is definitely advertising. And that's something
Yes.
I think we talked about this early on, is that
Yeah. Well, with advertising, one thing I'll say is a lot of people think advertising is just pay to play. It's unfortunately not. It's not as easy as, posting something on Instagram and hitting the boost button and throwing some money
yeah.
in. That's a gamble, 100%. Advertising has a lot of key components, and there's a lot of things that I have no clue about that you do for me. That you put into making sure our audience is dialed in perfectly. If I ever want to make any adjustments, one thing I'll say is communication with advertising, whatever company you're working with, is so important. And with Salvador, if I ever have any adjustments to make, it's pretty much gonna happen as like immediately. Like that's one of the best parts about it. But so I'll say that advertising is definitely the quickest way to get your feet off the ground. It's just very important to do it the right way because you can quickly lose a lot of money and quickly get very frustrated, which is what happened with me prior to meeting you.
Awesome, man. So we know what life was like before you came on board. But let's go into more detail about that transition period. I know the ads didn't really take off. You got some quick wins the first month, but it was really the second month where you began to see a lot of growth. So can you talk
Yeah.
about that transition period?
So the transition period really was pretty much I would say in April. I was in that awkward phase of am I didn't know if I was a mobile detailer or if I was a ceramic coating specialist. And then May is when I decided to make that switch. So stopped advertising mobile detailing completely. From that point, we're shop only, and then we do mobile maintenance for our clients. So when I made that decision, I decided to put more skin in the game, and I think we ended up moving up to a $25 budget, and things really started to take off. We got those campaigns dialed in. Our targeting was on point, and I was really on fire with executing on every single lead that I got. I would say early May, I would say late April into early May was a rude awakening for me, realizing how much effort really needs to go into capturing these leads. And they're qualified leads, no doubt. But compared to mobile detailing, where I just was closing a lot of leads on through text, through a quick phone call. So I would say not as much executing on the leads, but more the sales process was something that really I realized I had to get dialed in. So once I was hopping on the phone and getting straight on these leads and had a good sales process going, I quickly booked up for May. After the first week of May, I was booked up for the whole month, which
With
felt great.
coatings.
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah. So I was definitely hustling to get the coatings. Now, the way that I found it at that point to execute on these leads fastest was to call them. Answer their questions, but my biggest thing was seeing that vehicle in person ASAP, whether they come to me or I hop in the truck immediately and drive to them. So that's really how I was closing them so quickly. And then yeah, like I said, we were booked up with ceramic coatings, and obviously that's where things started to venture into paint protection film. So I brought on a very, very talented paint protection film installer. Um, and some of you might know, some of you might not, but ceramic coatings can lead to one, meeting some very, very great clients. You meet a lot of great people. Two, I definitely think people rave about ceramic coatings a lot more than just your basic exterior detail, because it's a lot more of an experience. And then three, it's as simple as that ceramic coatings can lead to paint protection film jobs. So I started booking up, I think I had 2 paint protection film jobs that month. But to me, that was huge because I get content for paint protection film, and I just get to advertise that now. So moving into June, I graduated high school. We increased our ad budget to, I think, $35 a day. And let me tell you, through the summer, it was ridiculous. Whole summer, all throughout. Um,
Yes.
I was done school, which some people that know me know that I'm not like the biggest student. I always love to work though. So right when I had the freedom in June, we went as hard as we could. I was consistently doing at that point, I would say 3 coatings a week. And then in June, we had 4 paint protection film jobs. So 1 per week. That was a great schedule to me at the time, which it still is. That's very profitable. But then we moved into July. So July was a month that changed everything. We did pretty much 4 to 5 coatings a week. We got a full body Bronco for PPF, and then a good amount of front end PPF jobs, front end plus rockers. So tons of profit in July, by far my biggest month. And that's when I was like, this is not only what I want to do, but this is how I'm really going to build something really great at a young age. And I just was excited. I was fired up. I saw the potential in my business. So keep in mind, throughout this whole entire thing, we're working out of a 600 square foot garage in my house. So to the people that are in between on whether they're mobile, whether they have a garage, and they think that they need a commercial shop to make this happen, none of that matters. You can do coatings mobile. There are coatings out there. There are ways to make crazy profit in this industry, have clients that are literally every single one turns into a client for life if you do it right. So it all starts with the marketing and the sales process. And then from that point, you kind of feel a lot less limit. So yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Awesome, man. So, from a revenue standpoint, what was it like from, April to July?
So in April, my goal was to make $10,000 a month. So, which $10,000 a month, I know for a lot of people starting out in this industry, that's the goal. You see a ton of these master classes saying, "I'll teach you how to make $10,000 a month consistently," because everybody knows that that leads to 6 figures. So quickly realized with paint protection film and ceramic coatings, profit margins change a lot. Not everything in this industry is straight profit. But in May, I did hit that 10,000 mark. We actually did 13,000 in May. And that was very impressive. In June, we were pushing the envelope a little more. I hit 19K in June. And then July, like I said, that was a month that got me fired up. We did a little bit over 27,000 in July.
That is insane.
Yeah. So keep in mind, like I said, this is in a tiny garage. It's about productivity, quality, and pushing your own limits. With sales, I mean, you put me back, if you look at me months ago, even in the winter, early spring, I mean, I could talk on the phone, but it's something I really didn't like to do.
Yeah.
You have to step out of your own comfort zone in a lot of different ways to succeed in the industry. But once you get rolling, and have the right people to work with, like you, and then my team of guys doing paint correction, ceramic coating, paint protection film, It's crazy the growth you can see. And it doesn't take long. It takes strategy and pretty much hard work and some grit. So
Yeah, man. And one thing that I love about you is your mindset. Even from the beginning, we did have it was pretty smooth in the beginning, but you
yes,
always knew that, you put your trust in me, which is amazing. I love that. And
yeah.
then when you do that, you have like a different outlook. You have a more positive outlook. You're not, I don't want this to come off the wrong way, but you're not, breathing down my neck as
Well,
a
yeah,
client.
and I know I mean, for the work I do, if somebody is standing behind me breathing down my neck when I'm trying to make correction, I'm sorry, I'll walk right out of the room. I can't work like that.
Yes.
You're professional. You work with you know, you see the testimonials from your other clients and stuff, and that alone, to the people on the fence, that alone should be enough, because there's no lying about that. You're not just somebody out here claiming that I can guarantee you 30 high paying paint
Yeah.
protection leads a month. That's complete BS. You're interviewing your clients. There's Ray at, what's his company's name again?
Bob Moses over in
Yeah.
Austin.
Look at that. I mean, that kind of growth wouldn't Ray runs a beautiful company. His branding is on point. His quality is on point. But the route to that growth is advertising. It's building that brand, it's advertising it properly, and being able to express the quality that you provide and the way that your company is to people that haven't seen your company before. So you have to trust the professionals to do that the right way, or else you're going to be like me and a lot of other people I know that have lost a lot of money marketing themselves.
Yeah. And just to touch on that point about the guarantee you 30 closings, those kind of marketers. Um, I have a lot of people who ask me like, what kind of guarantees do you offer? Is there a money back guarantee? And I'm like, dude, I'm not that kind of
It
marketer.
it depends on you give us the opportunity, and then it's our choice to execute on that opportunity.
100%. Yes.
Yeah.
And
So you also provide that sales script, which
yes,
is like that's what that's one of the main skills that is, whether you're working with whether you're working with a professional company or not, if you're in a business, you better have that stuff on point. I mean, I have a lot of improvement to do in my sales process. Every single day I try to improve on that. If you can't get on the phone, and if you don't believe in your services, as in believe that your services are the best and your customer really needs that, and there's so much that goes into the sales process. That's something that you provide a lot of guidance with, that I will say. But the people that are nagging for those guarantees, it just isn't, those guarantees on that are just impossible. You
no,
can't
they
just, what if people don't trust you? You can't just be a no name, and you need to have a lot of content and a huge portfolio behind you to really succeed in this, because you might be running the best ads in the world for a mobile company looking to make this transition. But if that person can't confidently sell their service, execute on a service, um, it's just not going to work.
and here's
It's
another little
nobody's
secret.
gonna nobody's gonna go and spend $3,000 on getting a ceramic coating or front end PPF to somebody that isn't confident enough to sell those services.
Yes, and that confidence is something that comes over time. You don't get it
Yeah.
right away. You
Oh,
build up.
no way. No
Yeah.
way. I've
And
lost a lot of leads because of, well, a bunch of things going on at once, and you're like, oh, I'll call them later, I got to do this, or you're overwhelmed. And that happens in business. Everybody has those days, and every single person has went through those growing pains. um Confidence 100% comes over time with this.
okay, awesome, man. So we know things really took off in July.
Yep.
We were spending more on advertising. We had the summer months really, you know, as a tailwind. But another thing, like you just mentioned, the confidence. I think at that point you were beginning to grow as a business owner. You weren't, you weren't a one-man show. You had employees. You were taking yourself more serious, which I think is super important. Um,
100%.
but let's go a little bit more detail just for people that are watching and talk about what your sales process looks like.
So my sales process has changed a lot over time. It went from before I really worked with you and got things dialed in, immediate text message, or I'll call you when like kind of like the hesitant sales process. Don't even try doing that. Then it moved into, okay, I'm very motivated. I'm fired up. I want to see these people in person immediately for an evaluation. That's one thing I'll say. If you're not confident on the phone yet, if you don't have a solid sales script in yet, if just see that person, whether they come to your shop or whether you drive to them. Because I'll say when I was doing that, I was seeing a lot of success with it. And I was a lot more confident speaking to the person, right with the car in front of us. They get to meet me. I just found it to be more fluent. For right now, I don't have enough time to be able to just up and leave and drive. I also have clients that travel from a distance, whether that's from word of mouth. Most of the time, the clients that are far away are from word of mouth and stuff because we're not advertising too far. But my sales process now will pretty much be my clients get an automated text, or my prospects get an automated text immediately right after they submit their lead. These clients have these leads have no idea that that's an automated message. It sounds exactly like something I would text them.
Yeah.
So pretty much what this does is it filters out at the rare occasion of somebody that just was clicking buttons on the internet.
Yes. You're gonna get
I've
those
noticed
definitely.
that I've saved so much time with these automated messages getting sent directly to the lead because it shows me if they're really interested. One thing I'll say is when you get these leads, think about it like this. This is one thing that I learned from somebody from Ceramic Pro. When you get a lead, at that moment, right when you get their information, they are online drooling over your company, the results. They're looking at all these benefits that they get out of it. They love your brand. They're in love with your product at that moment, but they scroll, 1 minute later, 5 minutes later, forget it. 5 minutes later, honestly, I'll tell you, if I'm on Instagram looking at an ad and I look at it, whatever, 5 minutes later, I don't remember that ad most of the time. If I submit something, most of the time I'm submitting a form to a few other companies as well.
Yes.
So they get a text immediately that extends their engagement. Worst case, which in this industry, we're all busy. A lot of us are hands-on. A lot of us are on the phone with other people, driving to mobile jobs, quoting jobs. You can easily text them and say, I can give you a call in 10 minutes, 15 minutes, explain yourself. But one thing I'll say is try to call them immediately. Right after they send that text, they get a call within the first 5 minutes of them answering that text. They're shocked with the follow-up. They're so excited. So then we dive into the sales process of, I like to immediately try to take the alpha role. Obviously, introduce yourself, your company, ask how they're doing. Engage them. Every single call that I do is, somebody taught me this, is try to stand up tall and smile before you call, because
Yes.
they can tell that that's a real thing.
Yes.
So
And that's
start
in the
with the
script,
fresh
by the
mind.
way.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I didn't even realize that. Start with a fresh mind. And I like to keep it in my head that this 15-minute call could easily lead to a 4-figure sale, a customer for life, unlimited opportunity. But you leave it be, you're just throwing an opportunity in the trash. So I give them a call, introduce myself, ask how they're doing, whatnot. Ask what kind of vehicle they have. You could have some common conversation about that vehicle. So don't dive too deep into that common conversation. You want to I mean, I've had calls when I was starting where I'll be on the phone with this prospect for an hour talking about anything and everything.
Yes.
Yeah, that builds a great relationship. And I have a bunch of my clients turn out to be friends. I'd swapped my truck about a month ago. Three of my buddies couldn't pull me out with their trucks. And I had a client come drive an hour and a half to come pull me out of that with a smile on his face.
Wow.
And I mean, that's one of the cool things about this industry is you build a lot of great relationships. And that guy's like, teach me how to ride a motorcycle. I got another client, we go to Cars and Coffee together and all these amazing things. Relationships are important, but this is a cold prospect. A 15-minute call can lead to a 4-figure sale and a limited opportunity. So after you introduce yourself, have a little bit of common conversation, put yourself in the alpha role by asking about their vehicle. Say, before I give you, so many people will say, how much it costs? Well, what's the price? They're going to keep pressuring you about that. Put yourself in a role where you're asking them questions subtly. You're not going to be like, sit down, let me ask you these questions, but more, I need to gain a strong understanding about your vehicle before giving you an accurate proposal and quote. So ask these questions. This is something that's within the sales script that you pretty much need to work with a professional to get these type of key questions. It's a valuable information to have. So after you ask these questions, you could close on the phone. I don't like closing on the phone unless it's a brand new vehicle, just because I like to know exactly what I'm getting into. So
Yeah.
I do tend to have the client drive to me. I've noticed when clients come to me, the closing rate's higher because they took time out of their schedule to drive to my shop. Most of the time, they don't want to leave with nothing. And make sure you set the standard that it's somewhat expected for them to have deposit cash in hand or, a card ready to put down the deposit for their service. No exceptions. Deposits are very important. But
Awesome,
there's a
man.
lot that goes in the sales process. It comes natural over
Yeah,
time.
and just for everybody listening, you can have a good script, you can have, the best leads, but if you don't have like the background or like the experience that you build up, the confidence that you're building up, that you just naturally get from talking to so many leads, it's not going to work. You need that
Yeah.
practice. You need to get those reps in. And over time, you're going to be more confident over the phone. You're going to be a lot more relaxed, which
Yeah.
puts them at ease because they know, like, hey, this guy isn't desperate for my business. He actually knows what he's talking about. And over time, you're going to notice that you're closing a lot more coatings.
Yeah. Sales is something that it's not easy. It's a really hard part of the industry. Especially if you're leaning pretty much all into the ceramic coatings and things get in a high ticket range. A lot of the leads that I'm getting from these campaigns, the way that we express our brand, the way that we word things, and the way that we pretty much introduce ourselves to these cold prospects, is in a fashion where they're expecting it to be in a higher price range. So it's important to not waste your time by, trying to be desperate and veer around things and making things easier for yourself. Hop on the phone and just get into it. Some people will say do it in front of a mirror or record yourself. I'm one of the people that have realized that if you want to do something and get good at it and learn about it and improve, just throw yourself into it.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Yeah. So, what would you say to somebody who might be on the fence? Those people who they thought about it, they've run their own ads, they didn't get the results they thought they would. What
Yeah.
would you say to somebody who's on the fence of partnering with Detailers Growth?
So if I were to say it in a few words, I would obviously just say hop in, get on a call with Salvador and just get started, because I want to save, a lot of people a lot of money and a lot of stress. And I want people to pretty much get their feet off the ground and start doing what they love doing. But I know in a lot of the people on the fence. With a lot of the people on the fence, I've been in your shoes. I was pondering about hiring a professional for months. Like I said, in that period, I lost a lot of money. I got very frustrated. There were ups where I realized if I had one ad that I ran myself that was a little bit successful, I thought I could do this. So don't keep falling back into that mindset. So take a step back, look at what you could spend. Your monthly rates are extremely reasonable, in my opinion, for what we get, especially since we made that upgrade. That
Yeah,
upgrade, you pretty much called me and said, "Hey, I think this is beneficial for your business." Well, what did we have, a 2-minute call about it? I
yeah,
trusted you enough where I just said, "Yeah, charge me. Let's do it."
yeah,
Did I regret a thing? No. Um, I'm 19 years old. I ran this business when I was in high school. Money isn't something that is, rolling out of my pockets. I invest everything back into my business. To this day, I still don't pay myself much at all. Um, Growth is the number one priority. So if you want to grow your business, and if you want to really take things to the next level, consider hiring a professional. And I couldn't recommend your services more.
awesome, man. I appreciate that. I did ask people on my personal page and in the group if they had any questions that they wanted to ask you.
Yeah.
We covered most of them. Most of them were around the sales process. I think we got those answered. But let's look at where you're at currently. So we know that in July you did really well. Has it been steady since July?
Yeah. So one thing I'll say, to be completely open. So to backtrack a little bit, the summer before this one, I was fully not out of business, but technically I was. It was 4 months of zero detailing. I took an
Wow.
opportunity to this is getting a little off topic. I took an opportunity to travel and work on a sport fishing boat. Met a lot of great people. Great opportunity. The main reason I did it was to, you know, get myself out there and network more, and I gained a lot of mentorship from that. So
Awesome.
anyway, pretty much I was out of business for that summer, got my feet rolling again. That's when I went full on that September. But so technically this August/September was like my first period really in business. So I didn't know exactly what to expect. There was a slow period for me at the very end of August into the first week of September. People were traveling like crazy. Every single one of my clients were away. They were in Florida, they were in California, Hawaii, wherever. And a bunch of the leads, I would call them and they would say, "I'll call you back. I'm on a trip," or "I'm leaving the airport." I was shocked.
That was across
Everybody.
the board, by the way. A lot of my clients had that exact same experience.
Well, yeah. Then I was talking to a bunch of my clients I go to for business advice. Like I said, talking to people and asking questions is key. So I was talking to my clients that are real estate agents, and everybody was experiencing the same thing. They said this is a slow time of year. My clients that are plumbers, electricians, they said, "Oh, I take off for 2 weeks at the end of August. It's
Yeah.
always slow." So I'm like, "What the hell do I do?" So by that point, as I mentioned, we had a great month in July, August. We raised our budget, and like I said, it's important to put and to trust who you're working with. So we did do a period of $50 a day for our budget, and that's what it took. It took increasing my budget. We made a few tweaks to the ads, and we were rolling again from that point. We climbed right out of that slow time. So right now, we're consistent. We recently made the switch to installing for Ceramic Pro and Kavacha paint protection film. So we've been pretty much working on making some changes for that. But overall, we're consistent. I'm doing anywhere from 7 to 10,000 a week out of a 600 square foot garage, and getting very close to finally closing on a shop that, as you know, that's been a goal of mine since a while.
I think I still have
That's
your
been
form where on that form I asked, where are you looking to go within 6, 12 months? And that's
It's always
exactly
been
what you
shop.
had. Yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, you work with the right people, you do what you need to do, as in focus on your sales process, provide amazing quality to your clients, focus on that customer experience. There's a lot of components that go into this, but a lot of the things you can handle, as in you can handle dealing with your customers and providing a great experience and doing those beautiful paint correction jobs and ceramic coatings. For marketing, why would you do it yourself when you have all of those other things to focus on to grow your business? If I were advertising myself right now, I could tell you right now, a shop wouldn't even be in the picture. It's
Wow.
that simple. A shop wouldn't even be in the picture. I would have lost a lot of money, and the business wouldn't be the same. I would still be mobile detailing. I would still be, you know, thinking that I would have completely different standards. My standard went from how many mobile detailing jobs can we fit in a week or a day?
Yeah.
To, wow, it would be cool if we got one coating a week per month. To 3 coatings a week and a PPF job, to 5 coatings a week and 1 or 2 PPF jobs. That's the new standard, and that's what we're consistently achieving.
Awesome, man.
I just closed a job 2 weeks scheduled out. That's Ceramic Pro Gold package and paint protection film on the front end and rockers, brand new C8. Like, you can reach those type of leads and close those type of sales when you work with the right people and focus on the right things. But don't
Awesome,
expect
man.
just to dump a bunch of money into a random ad on your Instagram and get those type of leads. It takes a lot more. It takes a
Yes.
professional.
Yes, 100%, man. So, um, as we transition into fall and winter, we know that historically, coatings don't really perform that well in the winter.
Mhm.
You said that this was going to be your first winter really going in with the coatings, but have you noticed any sort of like decline in, you said you were booked out 2 weeks, so I'm assuming, you know, have you noticed any decline in, like the response from leads, or like, are you not closing as easily as you once were?
Um, I would say overall for my closing rate, it's increased consistently over time because closing leads, the biggest dependent is the person that's selling, the product. Um, there are definitely times where I don't even get nervous about it being slow because I know I have a professional on my side working with me. But um, I'll say that going into the winter, I'm going into it with confidence. I wouldn't be going into, trying to move into a shop possibly this December if I wasn't confident that I had, the foundation and the marketing strategy to back it and get us through the winter. So I'm not too worried about this winter. I think that we're going to continue to grow.
And another key point, so July, September, you know, the popular months where things were going really, really well. Um, the cool thing about that is that we still have all of those phone numbers. We still have all of those emails that we can
Oh yeah, that's the
re-engage.
other thing on how confident I am for the future. You're gaining this customer book. I think we have 450 over time.
Yeah,
Um, of not customer books, but like you make the most out of those leads without me even looking at it. You're running drip campaigns for all of these leads to literally nurture them to the limit. And then for the really cold ones, it throws them out, but we still have that information from them. So having, that amount of people that showed some type of interest at some point makes you go into the slow times with a lot more confidence.
100%, man. Do you have anything else that you want to add about either your journey working with us or anything else you just want to put out there?
So I would say key advice to whoever is, has big goals for their business or is, hesitant about putting money into their business or whatnot is stay consistent with it. Um, Hire a professional and pretty much just work really hard because it's crazy what this business could bring you, from networking to obviously this business can treat you very well financially and lead you to a very comfortable life in the future, which I have some very big goals set for my business. And I see them being very achievable through working with the right people and sticking to the fundamentals. But I'm excited for the future. I'm excited to keep working with you.
Yeah, man. I'm super excited and honored to be a part of the growth and to see where you're going, man. Once you get in that shop, dude, I might have
Oh,
to fly
it's
out there.
limitless. We're getting, out of the garage. We got some it's a nice setup in there, but it's small, it's tight. But we're the renovations and stuff that I'm planning is as soon as we get in that place to pretty much make the entire place look pretty much represent my brand exactly how I want it. So I'm very excited just for the future.
Dude, I'm excited for you because this is only, it hasn't even been a full year that we've been working together.
No, not even
Seen a ton of
close.
growth, but next year, dude, we're
Oh
gonna
yeah,
put fire on we're gonna put gas on the fire.
yeah. No, and then through the winter too, like, it's fun because we just get to keep growing. It's crazy. I can barely even fathom the thought that I've been working with you since April. And the growth and the shift in my business and the shift in my mindset since then. I've grown so much as a business owner. I have so much to learn, which is one of the cool parts about it. Every day you learn something, but that growth, looking back on it, like 6 months ago to now, is absolutely unreal. Most people wouldn't even believe it. So yeah, I can't even imagine in 1 year down the line what we're gonna be.
Yeah, man, I'm excited for you. Yes, so thank you for your time, man. I appreciate this. You've been
Awesome,
an
of
amazing
course.
client, and I'm excited to see where you're gonna be at next year.
Oh, I'm excited too. And you're a pleasure to work with. If you ever want me to do any more, I'm always happy to back your services, and the experience you provide. It's awesome. And to anybody on the fence about it, give it a shot. That's all I could say. Just
Awesome,
give it a
man.
shot.
Awesome. Thank you.
Awesome.
Alrighty.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sounds good. We'll be in touch. You have a great day.
Yes, sir. You too.